Hey y'all, today on Restless Chipotle, we're gonna make these amazing homemade hamburger buns, and we're gonna make them in about an hour. We're gonna take our 1 cup of milk and we're gonna put 1/4 cup of butter in it, which is 4 tablespoons. All right, and we're gonna add our 1/2 cup of water and a tablespoon of honey. Did you know that if you spray your measuring utensil with a little cooking spray, the honey or peanut butter or whatever it is that's sticky will come right out. Okay, so we'll put our tablespoon of honey in there. I've actually warmed the honey up because it was all sugary. We hadn't used it in a while. Now, I'm gonna put this in the microwave for a couple of seconds, probably a minute, until the butter's all melted, and I'll be back. Okay, our butter's melted and the milk and butter mixture is warm. I'm going to check the temperature. I've been whisking it to get the temperature to come down, and it's down at 118 degrees, which we want it to be under 120. And then we're going to beat in a room temperature egg. Just crack that in there. I like having the sink handy like that. And whisk it in. I'm going to check my temperature one more time just to make sure, because I don't worry too much about the egg, but we want to make sure that this doesn't kill off the yeast. And with the egg in there, it's down to 111 degrees. So I'm just going to pour this into my big bowl. There are 4.5 cups of flour in this bowl, all-purpose flour. And what I'm going to do is take 2 cups of this flour, and it's already measured, so I don't have to worry about how I measure it now. A little more, a little less isn't gonna hurt a thing. And then I'm gonna add a packet of dry yeast, active dry yeast. You could use the rapid rise if you want to, it's not gonna make a difference. And we're gonna mix that in with the flour. And I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. If you're using regular table salt, use just a little bit less because the crystals are smaller. We're going to mix that in a little bit and then just mix it into the milk mixture. Now, the reason that we didn't add the yeast and salt to all of the flour is because we might not need all of that flour. So if we don't need it, we can put it right back in the flour canister, right? Now we're going to add the flour 1/2 cup at a time and stir it in well each time. And what we're looking for is for the flour to pull away from the sides of the bowl, or I'm sorry, for the dough to pull away from the sides of the bowl. And that should take most of the remaining 2.5 cups. Why, with bread dough, you need to go by how it looks and how it feels. You don't want this to be too stiff because you want a nice soft hamburger bun. So we're gonna knead this until it's smooth and elastic. And I have a video on how to knead if you need the video. When the dough has been kneaded enough, it's still not gonna, it's gonna be a little soft, but it's not gonna be super sticky. You'll be able to pull it out and it'll pull back. And if you pinch a piece of the dough between your fingers, it'll feel a bit like your earlobe, okay? Takes about 5 minutes to get it where you want it to be. Now, you can form these hamburger buns in a couple of different ways. You can separate them into however, like 6 or 12 equal pieces, depending on if you want big hamburger buns or the smaller size. Or you can use a cutter. This is a, I think, 24-ounce tomato can that I cut the bottom and the top out of and washed it out real good. And what I'm going to do is roll this out, and this makes a nice big hamburger bun, great for sloppy joes or barbecue sandwiches or anything like that. Okay, roll this or pat this out into a rectangle that's somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch thick, okay? And then just take your cutter, 1 straight down, 2, 3, 4, I think I'm gonna get 6. Stretch it out a little bit, 5, 6. I'm going to pick this dough out. I'm taking the scraps from what's left after cutting, and instead of cutting it with the cutter, I'm just gonna pat it out into kind of a circle. It won't be the prettiest hamburger bun, but it will be an extra one, so that'll give us 7. So here's the hamburger buns. They're almost doubled, not quite doubled. And that's exactly how you want them to go in the oven. I'm gonna put these in the oven right now, and they're gonna bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. And I'll see you back here then. Here they are, just out of the oven, literally just out of the oven. They took 13 minutes. You want to bake them until instant read thermometer in the middle tests at about 190 to 195. Now, I'm just gonna let them cool. All right, y'all, the hamburger buns have cooled all the way. Now, if you want them to be like commercial hamburger buns, you're not gonna cut them right in the middle. You're gonna cut them about 2/3 of the way down. So the top is 2/3 of the roll and the bottom is just 1/3 of the roll, just like this. And then just cut straight through. That gives you that fatter top. And look at that inside, soft, fluffy, so good. They're ready to put hamburgers on or barbecue sandwiches, whatever kind of sandwich you want to make. I am gonna make my favorite, a sloppy joe. The recipe for the sloppy joe mixture is on Restless Chipotle, and I will put a link down below with the recipe for the hamburger buns, okay? If you want to head over there and make this homemade sloppy joe stuff, so much better than the canned. The nice thing about these burgers is, or the burger buns, is that they hold up, and so you can just really pile the meat right on there. Look at that. Now, sloppy joes are called sloppy joes for a reason. Okay, y'all, here's my sloppy joe. Tell me that doesn't look delicious. Perfect hamburger bun. And it holds up with all of the sloppy joe sauce in there. Y'all, these aren't called sloppy joes for nothing. The hamburger bun is buttery, soft, fluffy, absolutely delicious. They're easy to make, they're quick to make, and you'll have the best hamburgers of your life, okay? All right, love y'all. Hope you'll try this recipe. And come back next week. The recipe for this is both on the blog and down below. And I'll see y'all next week, okay? Meanwhile, cheers. Could I get this any messier?